What's good, Joe? Welcome back to another video. So today, is Amine underrated? By my boy Matty Balls. Pause. Let's get into it, man.
Exploded onto the scene with his smash hit Caroline back in 2016.
I remember that.
Since then, he's had other huge songs like Reel It In, Spice Girls, and Heebie Jeebies. He also has 2 extremely solid albums and 2 very fun mixtapes. His discography has a variety of different genres, sounds, and experimentation. Amine has proven himself as a very talented rapper, singer, and overall artist. But despite all of the good music Amine consistently puts out, I always see him being left out of the conversation when talking about the best artists in hip-hop right now. At the same time, I'm seeing tons of people on the internet say that Amine is super underrated, so much so that Amine said himself that he had to mute the word underrated on Twitter because he was tired of seeing it. Personally, I think Amine can be overlooked, but I'm not quite sure he's underrated, so let's take a look into it. I want to clarify that I'm not saying that he's not popular, because he's definitely very popular. He has 1.7 million followers on Instagram, 8 million monthly listeners on Spotify, hundreds of millions of plays on his top songs, and I'm sure he makes plenty of money. Amine is very successful, but my personal issue is that I never see him being discussed when people are talking about the best new rappers of the new generation. I also want to clarify that this video is obviously going to be very opinionated, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments below. I've also seen Amine say that he's tired of being called underrated all the time and he's happy with where he's at, and I would be too. So sorry to Amine for the title, but the point of this video isn't really to keep pushing the he's underrated narrative, but it's just to figure out why he might be left out of the conversation I mentioned earlier. So let's look into why Amine may be overlooked and what might change that. For starters, Amine came into the game with his smash hit Caroline off of his album Good For You.
My bad for
This is
the
his
noise.
most popular album.
I was moving
and
my
in
what you call it.
opinion, it isn't his best. It was a good pop rap album and a very solid debut, but I think he's demonstrated a lot more talent on future albums. With this album and many of its songs being most people's introduction to Amine, they may have brushed off his future releases, expecting them to
I'm
sound
gonna be
the
honest
same.
with y'all though,
Ironically,
when it comes to
no two
Amine.
projects sound the same.
Amine really has his own sound. Amine gets overlooked. I feel like Vince Staples gets overlooked. I feel like a handful of those artists get overlooked in the sense of these artists that has their own like unique genre, unique like fit in music. They're artists. They're not even rappers. They're artists. Because Amine put all his albums. I listen to all of them. I love all of them. Be honest with you. I remember listening to Money Make the World Go Around. Money to your best friend. Money to your money turn a good girl out. Money make the sun go south. Money and a scene and the being. It's a good song. And that was the I look around and I see nothing in my neighborhood. Like, yeah, I love Amine, bro. Amine, my boy. You know, what's that one song with he had that one black dude on it. Mm, 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 mm. He was like learning how to eat pussy from a girl that don't know how to eat. He said learning how to eat pussy from a girl that know how to eat pussy, something like that. It was like what he talks about is, he said that's word that my ex, that's word my tongue or some shit like what. Look. And he had the one song with ODB sample. I said, ooh, baby, you like it raw. And Charlamander. I've been living on the island. Like, bro, that man, he iconic to me, personally. People sleep on him. But I don't feel like he's underrated. I feel like people just don't. He has his own, like, fan base. And if you don't fuck with him, you just don't fuck with him. I feel like a lot of rappers fuck with him. A lot of people fuck with him. Just they don't really, show support like that. I would. I'd be down to do a song with Amine. I remember one song, Amine. I'm so shit. I want to put my head up. Let me stop. I'm sorry. That song just, I love Amine, bro. Amine, that's my boy right there. I like his music. I really like his music.
Same. Also, with how big Caroline was, it's likely that a lot of people expected him to sound just like that song and didn't want to check out anything else. Especially with how much that song was played, I could definitely see people get tired of hearing it, so they wouldn't want to listen to more songs that may be like that. Fun fact, I saw Amine live recently, and he actually played Caroline without the beat, and everyone in the crowd was singing it a cappella because everyone knew the words because of how popular that song was. It was super cool, and I even made it to his story kinda. Anyway, well, good for you may not have been
Shout
the
out
best
to you, bro.
introduction to Amine. It was definitely a solid project. One of my favorite songs from the album is a song called Turf. I think that
Turf.
song in particular is super underrated. It has a great meaning and it has fantastic vocals from Amine and Charlie
That's
Wilson.
the name of the
So
song I was
definitely
singing.
check that out if you have not already. The next time the most casual listeners probably heard Amine was on the song Reel It In. That was another huge hit from his
Reel It In.
LP mixtape album 1.5. This project had a few other big songs like
Dr. Whoever, that's what I was talking about.
This was definitely a rap album with a
I remember
lot of
YB and Cordae was
songs,
on
but in
that.
my
Hit
opinion,
that, get
it
that,
lacked a
gonna
little
get
bit
hit
of
back.
diversity and could get a little bit repetitive after listening
I like
a few
that.
times. By no means am I saying it was a bad album, but I am saying if people listen to it after hearing the smash hit of Reel It In, it would have been really hard to make the rest of the album live up to the expectations set by that song, because it really was one of the best songs off of that album. Personally, I also really liked Why and Chingy, but some of the other songs were a little bit forgettable. So due to both of these albums having Amine's biggest hits, they really introduced hip-hop to Amine, and it may not have been the best introduction, which could have turned away potential future listeners. Again, this is pure speculation, but I do think this could be one of the reasons he may not get as much attention now as I think he should. My next reason he may be overlooked, and probably the largest reason, is because he's super unique and doesn't fit into any one box. Of course, he's primarily a rapper, but every single album he puts out has a different sound. Good For You was more of a pop rap sounding album, 1.5 was more of a trap album, Limbo was more of a hip hop album, although it was very diverse and had a lot of different subgenres within it, and 2.5 was an experimental pop, hyperpop, rap type of album. These are very loose definitions and genres, and they may not be super accurate, but they do paint the picture to show how diverse his catalog is. Amine doesn't go out of his way to cater to a mainstream audience, but instead he just makes whatever he feels like making. I'm sure Amine could very easily make a melodic rap song to try to get a smash hit, since that's what's popular right now, but that doesn't seem to be his objective. His last project, 2.5, was an experimental rap, hyperpop type of album that a lot of rap fans probably wouldn't like, and I'm sure Amine knew this before he released it. The majority of large hip-hop artists are not going to take a risk like that when they're making their next project, especially if they're concerned about making money. Amine says, the 0.5 projects are the breaks in between albums where I give myself the freedom to make music without expectations, focusing instead on spontaneity and the best of what comes from the stream of conscious creation, which is why they release unexpectedly without a long rollout. So the objective of these projects is just to have fun making music without attempting to make any hits, which is probably why the last one went so under the radar. It's unfortunate though, because I did really like this album, and if you haven't heard it, I strongly recommend checking out the songs Colors, Okay With Me, Between the Lines, and Meant to Be, which are my personal favorites off the project. He also said his goal with Limbo wasn't to make hits, but to demonstrate that he can really rap, and he did just that. He had a variety of different types of rap songs, some more experimental, some more old school
I don't
sounding,
like the song
some
with
more
Young
melodic,
Thug,
and
though,
some
not
hard
gonna lie to
hitting.
you.
Songs like Shimmy and Pressure in My Palms really demonstrate how good at rapping Amine is. This was definitely one of my favorite albums of 2020, and I'm sure many people can say the same. Limbo was also his highest charting album, charting at number 16 on the Billboard 100, making it a pretty successful commercial project. Some of my personal favorites from this project are Can't Decide, Pressure in My Palms, Compensating, Shimmy, and Riri. Again, if you haven't heard this album, definitely check those 5 out. My last reason is that if we're being honest, most casual rap fans don't really care if you're the best rapper, if you experiment, or if you have a diverse discography. They just want to hear music that they like and don't want to look too hard for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with just listening to whatever Spotify playlist pops up on your homepage, or listening to the radio, or however else you find music, because not everyone is a little dork on the internet that wants to go look for obscure artists that make experimental music or weird music or whatever. I mean, it doesn't sound like the Lil Babies, the Lil Durks, or the Roddy Riches, and that's what's popular right now. Of course, he still has a huge fan base and a ton of supporters, but the chances of him getting into that conversation with the most popular rappers right now are pretty slim because his music isn't quite trendy. Obviously, he could cater to that sound, but as we know, Amine just makes whatever type of music he likes to make. In my opinion, Amine has a very similar situation to Denzel Curry, where he may not be mainstream, but he does have a very strong fan base and is very well respected by a lot of hip-hop listeners. Like Denzel says on the song Perks, I may be overlooked, but I'm never underpaid.
Oh God, what?
Applies to Amine too. So I think overlooked might be a better word than
Facts.
underrated. That's why I've been using it more
that
throughout this video. Obviously, I think Amine should get a little bit more attention, but it's not like he doesn't have millions of fans. At the end of the day, Amine is a super talented artist, and although he may not get as much attention as he deserves,
remember what he just said. He's a super talented artist. Think about Lil Babies, Lil Durks, and all them. They are rappers. There's difference between being a rapper and an artist. Lil Baby hasn't made his own. He haven't became unique yet. You know, artists are very unique in how they make their albums. Not gonna lie to you, a lot of trap rappers, they stay in the trap rapper position because they don't never expand. They never do something different. They never switch it up and be more unique to themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you fit in, you do what you comfortable with. Never, you know what I'm saying? Always. But just know, if you ever want to be classified as an artist in my book, I need to see you switch it up. I need you to build literally your own sound. 'Cause I know like 3 rappers that sound just like Lil Baby. And there's no disrespect. I'm just saying, I feel like he need to build even more his own sound. You know, like Jay-Z, he's an artist because he built his own sound. Amine, he's an artist because he built his own sound. Vince Staples, he's an artist because he built his own sound. If you can build your own sound, then you become an artist. If you can't, I mean, you can stay a rapper. It's not wrong. And there's nothing wrong with being a rapper. Let's get back into it.
Super successful. He just goes about his success in a very low-key way. As he continues improving his discography, I could definitely see him making his way into the best of this generation conversation. I think Amine has tons of potential, and I'm definitely excited to see his career continue to grow. If you haven't listened to Amine since Caroline or Reel It In, I highly recommend checking out the songs that I said were my favorite from each album, because they'll really remind you how talented he is and how diverse his discography is. If you like this video, you might like my video where I talked about YB and Amir and how he kind of ruined his career, and if I think he ever has a chance of making a comeback. Anyway,
no problem,
guys. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Matty Balls. And
anytime, man. Shout out to you, Matty Balls. I just want to say, I ain't gonna leave your face looking like that.
Next time.
Okay, I like that. You should stick with that, man. I was gonna say, like, honestly, I feel like Amine, he don't even just have potential. He got everything. You know what I'm saying? He's literally doing it. He's making money and he's getting paid, and he has a very strong fan base. And making music that's trendy is not always like the vibe. It's not always it. Like, I feel like once you make music that you like, that's the only thing that really matters. If it makes money, great. If it doesn't, cool. As long as you know you're happy with what you do. Now, I feel like Amine, Denzel Curry, you know what I'm saying? Vince Staples, Tyler Creator even. They make music that they like. They honestly do. So, yeah, that's hip. Amine makes hip-hop music. I mean, I don't care what different types of experimental pop and all this other stuff. He makes hip-hop, bro. You know what I'm saying? To me, he does. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Shout out to my boy Meaty Balls. Pause. That's my little thing I say with him, you know. And yeah, I'm about to text him on Instagram though and tell him, yo, I react to your videos. Keep up the great work. And yeah, take care, bro. Thanks, man. Mario the poet.